can finally get some rest after a long day. I've worked so hard on this farm. I would literally die if anything were to happen to it. Well, I'm off to bed. What a beautiful day outside. I should go check on my farm just to see if it's safe. What the? Climate change. We all know that the Earth's climate has been changing over a long period of time. And with these changes come many problems such as increased wildfires, coral bleaching, ocean acidification, and so much more. But the issue I wanted to focus on today is rising sea levels. The reason I chose this issue is because my family originates from the Philippines. The Philippines is an island nation about 1,400 miles away from the coast of Vietnam. If the sea level were to rise a lot, it would cause flooding and many people in my family's home country would die. Okay, so then what causes rising sea levels? One of the root causes of rising sea levels is fossil fuels. If you don't know what they are, fossil fuels are plants that were compressed under the surface of the earth for millions of years. Essentially, they are organic molecules with high energy bonds, and the energy in the molecules originates from the sun through the process of photosynthesis. So how are fossil fuels causing rising sea levels? When we burn fossil fuels, we combust organic carbon stored for millions of years. This results in an increasing atmospheric pool of inorganic carbon. Then, the increasing carbon and water in the atmosphere absorb and reflect infrared/heat photons. This means that instead of the infrared photons going into space, they are trapped in our atmosphere, which heats up the Earth. This leads to ice on land melting, which raises sea levels. With that being said, humans are the main contributors to carbon being emitted into the atmosphere. We emit carbon through ways of transportation, power plants, factories that produce goods, and many other ways. Therefore, I feel like one potential solution to address rising sea levels is to plant trees and reduce the production of paper. This solution reduces the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. This is because trees perform photosynthesis, which is a process where the tree takes in carbon dioxide and water and turns it into glucose that the plant can use. Also, if you reduce the production of paper, then that means fewer trees will be cut down because there would be a low demand for paper. This results in the Earth having an abundance of trees to absorb the carbon dioxide in our atmosphere. But if we do not implement a solution for rising sea levels, people who live on islands, like the Philippines, and other coastal areas will be affected. This violates Principle 3 of environmental justice, which states, environmental justice mandates the right to ethical, balanced, and responsible uses of land and renewable resources in the interest of a sustainable planet for humans and other living things. This principle is connected to rising sea levels because if the sea levels rise too high, then multiple land species can become extinct. Animals and humans who live on islands and or coastal areas will lose their homes and will have to migrate. They will migrate to areas that are already populated. Since there's only a finite number of resources, not everyone can live. This is not sustainable because species will lose resources, and if they move inland, then double the number of resources will be used in that area. Countries have not reduced the production of paper because people need to cut down trees for land. They want to build businesses, homes, and everything that makes them money. Also, this solution is challenging because paper is used in offices, schools, books, and so many other things. Lastly, I just wanted to show you a graph that shows sea height variation over the course of 28 years, from 1993 to 2021. The data in this affects the Earth as a whole because water is everywhere. If you look at the graph more closely, you can see that the line fluctuates from year to year. This is called the short-term variation, and since the line moves up and down, the short-term variability is unpredictable. But if you look at the graph with a wider view, you can see that the graph is predictable because as time goes on, the graph increases. This is the long-term trend and shows that sea levels will continue to rise in the future if you do not implement a solution to slow it down.